Serious, what was the best thing you have ever accidentally overheard someone say about you? I played football my entire life. I thought I was good and my coaches would usually be impressed with what I did on the field. Once, before a game, I went to a bathroom, and on the back wall of it, the coaches of the opposite team were having a talk, I'm guessing shielding themselves from the sun or something, but I could hear them through the open window at the top. We have to stop #90. He can take over the game pretty easily, yeah. We could try a double block, but he's usually too fast reacting to the count and often they can't reach him, yeah. QB name will have to make a read on the line to see where Dulls is, then he will call out the double block. I felt super validated hearing them talk about this. And, once the game started, I did notice the QB calling me out. If I was on the right side of the line, he would call Roger. Roger. If I was on the left, he would call Lowy. Lowy, and I would get double teamed that way. Oh man, I know the feeling. I played hockey and was just starting to get pretty good at it. During a game on a summer team, I stole the puck from the other team and sprinted down the ice. I passed pretty close to the other team's bench and heard the coach yell, "We need to cover 18" to his bench. Really kickstarted some of my on-ice confidence. One of the best things I've ever heard was just on the basketball team as the filmographer. Now, on Friday the 13th, after getting hit by a car who turned in front of us while we were going around 60 miles per hour, we went to the hospital to get checked up on. Thankfully for my mother and I, we had a relatively clean bill of health, considering the wreck obliterated the upper right side of the car and totaled it to never work again. That afternoon, the assistant coach saw me at the hospital. I told him of my predicament, and he notified everyone else at the school. The principal did a little say after the game about buckling up and driving safely, and everyone was confused. Then they hear that I got into a wreck, and were hoping that I get better soon. Come Wednesday the following week, I came back, and they were relieved I was alright, and in high spirits. I worked as a tutor during college in an open study hall where students could just come in and get academic help on whatever they were struggling in. Sometimes I would share my work schedule with students in case they wanted to come in for a follow-up. So one day I'm not sitting in my normal spot in the front of the room because I was helping someone write a paper or something, and this really nice girl I had helped with math a few times in the past comes in with two of her friends. At first she thought I wasn't there and started telling her friends how disappointed she was that I wasn't in and that she'll never pass the test without me. I know that I'm strong in academics and students wouldn't keep coming back to me if I wasn't helpful, but hearing how important my tutoring was to this girl really made my day. I knew it secondhand. When I worked on a country hotel, I was mainly going to work on the dishwashing area. However, when they hired me, they needed waiters, so they asked me to do so for a week. I ended up being a waiter my whole time working there. After a few months I asked if it was possible to work with the housekeeping crew. After a few weeks I was told by someone close to the managers at the housekeeping, restaurant and kitchen managers were fighting over me because they wanted me to work with them. When I was leaving, it was a 6-month work abroad program. One of the managers, who was considered the worst for being so strict, gave me a gift. Later I found out that he considered me as one of the best workers he has ever worked with. Very uplifting. This had happened at the start of the school year, but for some background, I struggle to write as I can't get words to make sense and struggle to spell a lot, even though I'm a recent graduate of high school. Anyway, I had been struggling with an assignment, but I thought that I should hand it in, even though it was 2 weeks late, and I felt like it could have been better. My teacher had read it and smiled, then told me to work on our other assignments. While doing so, I overheard him talking to my co-teacher, a teacher that helps in larger lower level classes like mine, and said ops writing is really good, also as good as some 6.0 app, but not writing, and it made me feel a lot better. Sorry if this is lame, it meant a lot to me. That they're worried about my mental health when I thought no one noticed I was dying inside. I had this, but the other way round. Turns out one of my best friends was cutting themselves and didn't think anyone cared about her. Really hoping that you're doing better, carrot. I'm getting there. Definitely thinking positively, and with the newfound reinforcement and support I know I'm strong enough. Thank you. You're welcome carrot dash carrot. In these situations you always need to remember that there are people that love you, and if something happens they will for sure miss you. I don't know really, he seems perfect, but it has only been a few days and I don't want long distance. I wish he lived here. Dude, you go to tell us if anything came of it. It did. We spent a few wonderful days then promised each other that we would meet again. On the other hand, we texted a lot in the spring. Results were we were really in love with each other, but neither of us wanted a long distance relationship, so we stopped talking. Hope fate makes us meet again. Honestly, even if you don't, that ending is better than a long distance ending in a broken heart. I don't hear too much good about myself, but what I do hear is typically top tier things. It was my last month of high school, and I was walking behind a couple of cars to get to my own. I pulled out my keys and almost started my car, but decided not to, and just sat there for a moment. I didn't see the group of acquaintances on the other side of my truck, but I did hear them. I only caught the last sentence, but it did stick to me. Yeah, Artie Ilkin is actually really cool. If you give him a chance, he just seems cautious. Made my whole month. In 6th grade, after answering one of the many difficult questions in class, I overheard my crush whispering to her seat neighbor how she never noticed how smart I actually am. I pretended to not hear it, but it felt really amazing. It made me also regret that I always held back in school in fear of being called a nerd. I was always one of the smart kids in elementary, but I think I lacked the social sensitivity to even consider holding back. Those were some good years. Having a reputation like that, even if much of it was actually spread negatively. This doesn't really fit, because it was told directly to me, but I want to share it. I'm 18 and work in the service industry. One day a lady come up to me and told me that she thought I was doing a really good job and asked if there was a way she could put in a good word about me. A couple days later my boss told me she had called him and said good things about me. He told me he was really appreciative of me and thanked me. My face got really hot and I just about cried when I got home because it was the first time anyone has said something that nice about me. I didn't really overhear this, but my friend told me this. So there was this boy in my class who sits between me and my friend. Let's call my friend a B to lower confusion. So a B was talking to the boy. Sometimes he lightly insults people. Only ones he knows could handle it. I had heard my name in their conversation and I got much suspicion. Later that day, my friend told me that he had insulted me. I laughed at it lol. He said I had hairy eyebrows XD, but then he said that I was too nice to be insulted. I was together with some friends and my crush. I knew I looked cute when I was sleeping, cause of so many weird positions I sleep in. Anyways, I was laying on a couch in my taekwondo club, laying cute on purpose. I was laying right out of the girls' locker room when my crush and some of my friends get out. Friend lol, look at my name crush, he looks so cute when he sleeps. I just want to hug him. Best part is that it happened while crush had a boyfriend. That made my day very much better, and I'm still thinking about it. I'm a young mom. I was 15 when had my eldest. I'm 25 now, and I have 4 kids. Married, they all have the same father. I was at the ear for one of my kids. I don't remember which kid or why, but my kids have suffered chest issues, so that was probably why. I overheard the pediatrician telling the ear doc that I'm a good mom. That was awesome. That meant a lot to me. I overheard a guy in my class say I'm not the worst looking girl in the class. I know it doesn't really sound like a compliment, but it made me feel a little better about myself. That dude for sure thought you were attractive. That is what a guy says if he doesn't want people to think he likes you, but still thinks you are attractive. If a Dane says that, it's absolutely a compliment. My uncle and father were talking to each other about me and my sister. My uncle said something along the lines, if I was a disappointment compared to her who has a house and a stable job and a billion times more charismatic. My father snorts and tells him, are you kidding? I'm proud of her. She's doing her best and hasn't given up. I always thought he wasn't proud of me. It's nice to know he realizes how much I try. I overheard an ex-girlfriend once talking to her friend about her new boyfriend, and right before my head swelled up and I floated away, she said, yeah, he's really good in bed. I mean, he's no mjalna pants. but he's still really good. To be fair, I also once overheard a different ex say pretty much the opposite. Maybe the other ex wasn't worthy. Woo, yeah, bet ya haven't heard that before. I didn't overhear it, but heard it secondhand, that my crush thinks I'm really funny. That really boosted my confidence. Good for you. You gonna go for the big question anytime soon? Soon, man. Still trying to get some courage, plus it's summer, so we don't see each other that often. We're going to the same college soon, though, so hopefully it works out. About a year ago, I was talking with a group of my friends' friends when I had to go BC of the time. I was walking away when I heard one of them say insert friend's name, could you give me her number? I secretly blushed and pretended I didn't hear that. My friend texted me later that day to ask if she could give her my number. I said okay. We are still friends to this day. Went to my brother's English teacher to return a book. When I told her I'm his sister, she seemed surprised but happy and told me that she has heard great things about me from many teachers. Also that my current English teacher is really fond of me and that I'm such a great student. I mean, I knew I'm a decent student, but it felt so good to know that teachers did like me, especially my English one. She may have messed up, but she is still your daughter. That girl tries her best every second and is more than successful in almost anything she attempts. Even when she has a slip up, be proud of her for trying, not disappointed for stumbling. Thanks, Mom. Heard it from the kitchen and cried silently. Salvaged me and my father's relationship during hard times. Everyone in the 8th grade got to sleep over at a place I can't name. It was set up by the teachers, and on the second night over I went to bed early. When my other cabin mates came back, they thought I was sleeping and said that I was really cute when I slept and that I looked like an angel. It really made me happy, especially since I had self-esteem issues. On a hiking trip in high school, I was hiking faster and more easily than everyone else, at least, partly because I was better at lightweight packing than most of the others. One of my friends was quite a ways behind me on the trail and said to someone else, wow, Henry Bladbug 3rd is in really good shape. I called back yep, and he also has really good hearing.